Next Sunday is Stewardship Sunday. For those who are visiting here, I talk about stewardship for 3 weeks a year. So this is installment number 3. And I'm going to present this in a different way than you've heard about stewardship ever before. So we ask next Sunday that every person here bring their stewardship form for 2020. And you should have received them in the mail. If you didn't, you can go on our website, or we have them in the back. Or you can stop by the office, or you can call the office and we'll mail you one. We want to make this as easy as possible to get you the form. And then we ask that you bring the form back to church next Sunday. And that means that this week, unless you've made your decision already, everyone has a decision to make as to what they're going to offer for stewardship. So I want you to think about giving in a new way. I want you to think about giving in terms of 4 words that start with the letter P. The first word is plan. Plan. Don't just give haphazardly or randomly or without thought. Many people give without thought. They just write down the same as what they gave last year, maybe go up by a few dollars, but they don't really think about it. The second word is percentage. Rather than give a lump sum at the beginning of the year, make a budget for what you will give and offer for what you will earn, and then figure out what you want to give as a percentage of what you're earning. The third word is progression. Try to up the percentage each year until you reach the biblical goal of 10%. And the fourth word is priority. Now let me change what I said about percentage as deciding how much to offer back to God, as if we're giving him the leftovers after everything is picked over. Let's change that and let's give God the first of what we have. So I'm going to go and do an illustration of what this looks like, 10%. Because they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. So I'm going to go off script here and make a picture that I hope you'll remember. And John is going to assist me with some of the alt boys. Zachary, if you want to come back up here, you can assist with this. How many people had a good Thanksgiving dinner? How many people have a lot of leftovers in the fridge still on Sunday? How many people wish that they could just burn through the leftovers so they could get to other food? Anyone disappointed? They want like the leftovers? Oh, how many people are glad they have leftovers? They don't have to cook. Okay, good. How many people took a nap after Thanksgiving dinner? They ate so much they just conked out on the couch. Nobody? I did. 2 hours. All right, good. So, going with the Thanksgiving theme, and I'll speak personally, I am very blessed. I'm very blessed. I've worked hard, and I work hard, and I'm blessed to make a decent income. And so, let's say I'm going to host a Thanksgiving feast, another one. For me, and I'm going to buy some things for me and my family to feast on. So, John and Zach, the altar boys, they're friends of the family who are going to help me set up my family feast. So, John, tell me, what do we have for the family feast? What's the first thing we have? We have 8. How many turkeys do we have? 8 turkeys?
Yeah.
We don't have 10?
We have 10 of everything else.
We had 10 of everything. All right. Here is one big turkey to God. The first turkey is going to go to God, which leaves me a bunch of turkeys for my family. Look at all these turkeys my family will eat. Where's my son at? Is he out here? Nicholas, you like turkey? No. We're going to be eating a lot of turkey. We've got lots of turkey here. You'll hide in the closet. You won't even want to eat the turkey. Oh, you're going to get other meal. Okay. Well, we have a lot of turkey. You'll like the other things on our table. All right. What else do we have, John?
Potatoes.
We got 10 bags of potatoes. This is, one bag is a lot of potatoes. But the first bag of potatoes goes to God. And that leaves my family with 9 bags of potatoes. That's a lot of potatoes. You like potatoes? Constantine, you like potatoes? Mashed potatoes. Okay, you're going to eat mashed potatoes for a long time. There's a lot of potatoes here. Next, what do we have, John?
We have black beans.
Black beans. All right, that's 1 can of black beans over here going to God. 9 cans of black beans for my family. What's the next thing we have?
Black-eyed peas.
Black-eyed peas. This is a very southern Thanksgiving. So we have black-eyed peas. What? Oh, the black-eyed peas on the top. All right, 1 can of black-eyed peas, and 9 for my family. Next.
Green beans.
Oh, green beans. All right. How many of you here like green beans? Anyone like green beans? Oh, good. Well, the first bunch of green beans is going to go to God, and the last 9 cans of the green beans are going to stay in my house. What do we have next?
Turkey gravy.
Turkey gravy. How many people like gravy on the turkey? All right, we have lots of gravy here. So the first turkey gravy goes to God, leaving 9 cans of turkey gravy for my family to enjoy.
You got cranberry sauce.
Cranberry sauce. How many people are fans of cranberry sauce? I'm not a fan. I'm glad to give this to God. Even if I wasn't a fan, I'd still give the first to God. 9 cans stay with me. Next.
Fruit cocktail.
Fruit cocktail. How many people like fruit cocktail? Not many fans of that. But we give whatever we have, whether we like it or not, we give the first to God, and we keep the 9 for ourselves. Or maybe we give all those away too.
Sliced pineapple.
Sliced pineapple. I like pineapple. How many people like pineapple? We've got people from Hawaii in my family, so pineapple's been part of the family. Wait. What is this? No, all this goes over there. We're keeping all this. Here, we gave 10%. You keep all that over there. 1 thing of pineapple over here.
And buttered corn.
Buttered corn. Constantine, if you run out of room, we can put it under the table. That's fine. All right, buttered corn. That's another good southern delicacy. So we've got, what here? Oh, big stack. Yeah, that's good. Come on, guys, you know how to build. You can stack the cans like tall. All right, next thing we have here is yellow cling peach halves. I've never heard of this. Peach halves, but I have it, so I'm going to give it to God. So I'll put that over here, leaving 9 cans of this unknown substance for us to experiment with in my house.
Got yams.
Next, we have yams. How many people like yams? Love yams. A little sugar on them. All right, so 1 can of yams, that's going to God, and 9 cans of yams staying in my house. Come on, guys, you're falling behind.
You got turkey stuffing, too.
Turkey stuffing. Make a stack like that, like you're building a pyramid. Just make it balance. All right, 1 box of stuffing. That's going to God. And we have 9 boxes of stuffing remaining over here.
10 cake mixes.
Oh, who likes dessert? Who likes dessert after Thanksgiving dinner? Who had room for dessert after Thanksgiving dinner? All right, so we cannot have a dinner without dessert. So here's 1 box of cake mix, super moist yellow cake mix, the kind you buy at Wright's. We have 1 box of that here, and 9 boxes we are going to retain. 1 box going to God, the rest staying over here.
Spaghetti.
We have spaghetti.
Yeah, just found.
We just found some spaghetti. Yeah, for those who don't like turkey, they would rather go to an Italian fare. So we've got, we got 1 fan of that. Okay, well, we got pasta going to God, and we got a lot of pasta staying at home. All right, what else do we have?
Rice.
We have rice. For those who don't like potatoes and you want to have rice with your meat, we've got 1 bag of rice over here and 9 bags of rice staying with us.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter. Oh my gosh. We have peanut butter going over here to God. We've got 10 cans of peanut butter, and we've got a bunch of peanut butter to stack up over here. Oh, timber. We've got so much stuff we don't even have a place to put it. All right, let's stack it all up here. What else do we have?
That's it.
That's it? That's all the products we have?
Yeah.
All right, well, can you guys try and fit all that on here somewhere carefully? Because I want people to see the abundance that we have. We have an abundance of stuff. Yeah, build carefully though. Let's put everything that we have up here. Put it wherever. We'll stack nicely. Thank you guys for your help. That's awesome. Who's getting hungry? Is anyone getting hungry? All right, we'll discuss raviolis later in Italian food. Okay, my gosh, we got cereal here. All right, just stick that up here. All right, throw that up here. Oh, more pasta. 1 more thing of yams. All right, that is good. All right, thank you guys. Good job, Nicholas. Good job, Constantine. All right. They're looking, they're waiting. All right. You guys can all sit down. You see what happened? I gave away 10% of what I have over there. And I have 90% over here. Now, if I added that 10% into here, you wouldn't even notice because this is overflowing with abundance. So you can't have more than overflowing with abundance. And if I had started with that over here and I put 10% of it away, you wouldn't even notice either. Again, because when you have an abundance of something and you take a small percentage away, you don't even notice. So here's how I set up this example. I had a plan. I planned to give 1/10 of whatever food I had to God, and then to keep the other 90%. My giving was based on a percent of what I have, a percent of what I had, not just a lump sum, but a percent. I took all that I had, I took 10% of it, and I put it aside. It wasn't, let's lay out everything and see what I'm going to do. It wasn't, let's lay out everything and see what I don't like, and we'll give that away. It was just take whatever I have and take the first 10 of it, the first 10th of it, and put it away. So I didn't say, let's see what I have. I'm going to keep all the turkey, but I don't like cranberry sauce. I'm going to give all that away. All right, I said I'm going to take, I got 1 turkey, I got 10 turkeys. I'm going to put 1 aside. I'm going to keep the other ones. It also wasn't based on what anybody else was doing. I didn't say to somebody, you know, hey, what are you giving away? Let's compare notes what you're giving away. All right, it's a personal choice. This is the segment of what I have that I'm going to give away to God. I also made it a priority. I gave God the first. I didn't look at all the cans of yams and say, you know, is one of these cans damaged? I'm not going to eat it anyway. Let's put the damaged one over here. I'm like, just take the first can that you give me, that one's going over there. The other 9 I'm going to keep right over here. I made it a priority. I gave the first to God, and then I kept the rest. So here's some points to ponder. I'll go through this list really quick. Very few of us are giving 10% to God, including me. We and our family are giving progressively, adding a percentage to our giving every year until we get to the biblical threshold of 10%. I encourage you to look at what you gave in 2019 and figure out what percentage of your income that is, and then add a percentage point in 2020. So if you make $100,000 and you gave $1,000, and you say, okay, that's 1% of my income, let's see if I can do 2%, 2,000. Then next year we'll try 3%, 4%, until we get to the 10%. Second point, most of us don't eat 100% of the food on our plates anyway. How many people scrape some food into the trash on Thanksgiving Day? You didn't finish something on your plate. How many people had something left over that you didn't like? All right? Most of us don't eat 100% of our food anyway. So if we took away 10% of the food, we probably wouldn't suffer too much. I know I wouldn't. I probably need to eat about 20% less anyway. The thing is, we wouldn't collect the scraps of the food and give that away. That's not attractive. We want to give the first of the food away because that's what is attractive. And we should give that to God first, not give him just the scraps that we don't want. Number 3, we probably throw away a percentage of our money. If you really think about it, there's a lot of things that we buy and we just don't need. I mean, how many people have something in their closet that they just never wear? Anyone have something in their closet they just never wear? They're like, that was a great buy at the time, and then it's like, I really don't need that. How many people have like way too many pairs of shoes? Anybody got way too many pairs of shoes? All right, how many people, I won't ask for a show of hands, but I mean, we buy like magazines and stuff we don't even read. All right, so we probably spend a lot of money that we don't need to spend as it is. We spend money on luxuries we don't need, we buy clothes we don't use, we buy food that gets thrown out. So if you cut your spending by 10% and just restricted your spending to the things you really need, you wouldn't even notice that 10%. Number 4, these same principles on giving should also guide our parish on how we give to charity. Because of your generosity and stewardship, we're giving about 6%, actually this year was about 5% of our budget away to stewardship, we're giving about 5% of our budget away to charitable things outside of our parish, and next year it's going to go to 6% and then 7% until we get to 10% of our budget going to charitable causes outside of our parish. Again, because we have an abundance of people, we have an abundance of stuff, we're not going to feel it if we give 5% or 6% away to charitable causes outside of our church. This is a priority for us. Number 5, We plan, as I said, we plan to increase our charity by 1% each year, so we're giving 10% away. So there's a plan, a percentage, and a progression, and it's mathematically possible that if everybody gave 10% to the church, and if every church gave 10% to charity, we would not have poverty in this country. Now, we can't control the rest of the country, but I want our church to do our part so that we're mathematically hitting that mark and doing our part to stop poverty and other things that ail our society. Number 6, the Old Testament teaching on giving was the tithe. Deuteronomy 14:22. You shall tithe all the yield of your seed, that's 10%, which comes forth from the field year by year. The New Testament, so you should be glad. People say, we don't go to the Old Testament. No one reads that anyway. That's old. We don't apply that to our church anymore. You should go to the Old Testament standard of giving. You know why? Because the New Testament standard of giving blows the tithe out of the water. In Acts 2:44 and 45, it says, and all who believed were together and had all things in common. And they sold all their possessions and goods and distributed them to all as any had need. So the New Testament standard of giving is like you just give everything away. Everything is in common. So for those who complain, we don't like the Old Testament, let's just stick with the Old Testament way of doing this. It's actually much easier. Number 8, stewardship is a gift to God. It is not a gift to Father or to the parish council or even to the church. It is a gift to God. So when you're filling out your form, imagine if God is standing right next to you. In fact, fill your form out in front of an icon of Christ if you want, because it's a gift to Him, and it's not a gift to anybody else. Number 9, giving to the Lord honors the Lord. Proverbs 3:9, honor the Lord with your substance and with the first fruits of all your produce. This is how we honor God. Number 10, and this is most important, giving to the Lord is an act of trust that He rewards. Malachi 3:10, bring the full tithes into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house, and thereby put me to the test, says the Lord of hosts, if I will not open the windows of heaven for you and pour down for you an overflowing blessing. So when we give to God, we actually get blessed greatly in return. And because we're giving to God, there should be a great joy in what we're doing. Next point, I just have about 2 more and then we're done. I recently read that we invest in eternity when we do it through generosity. Most people are concerned with how to invest for the short term, for now, for college, for retirement. When we invest in generosity, we are blessed now and also for eternity. Another great quote I read recently on giving says, people who have the gift of earning almost always have the gift of giving. God gives people a gift to earn, and He gives us also a gift to give. Another great quote, and this is an awesome quote, not just for giving, but for other things in life. There's a principle entitled, as now, so then, which means there are lots of things we put off, promising to do a better job at some future date. The as now, so then principle is that the future date rarely comes. As we are doing now, so we will be doing then. So let's make that leap of giving a percentage to God. If you can do 10%, look at what your table and your bank account will look like. Generosity to God while retaining an abundance for yourself. Lastly, lots of people have regrets throughout life, especially at the end. Anyone ever meet anyone at the end of their life who has like regrets? Anyone ever meet someone like that? I should have spent more time with my family, or I should have traveled more. Anyone ever meet someone like that? Okay, you probably never met someone who said, I really should have given less to charity. I gave too much. Anyone ever met someone like that? I really gave too much away. Or, I really should have been more stingy and less generous. I was too generous. Or, I was really too kind to other people. I should have been more unkind. Or, I prayed too much. Why did I do that? I could have gotten away with much less time in prayer. How about this? I went to church too often. I should have spent Sundays on the golf course or at the beach. Or I spent too much time reading the Bible. I should have spent more time studying the sports scores. Or I really paid too much attention to those who are less fortunate. I really should have spent that time on myself. Of course, none of these are regrets that anyone's going to have. Usually it's the other way around. I should have done more of these things. No one says I should have done less of them. So let's not have any regrets. Let's make giving a priority. Let's not wait for some future date. Let's do it now. This is the week to make a plan. Please prayerfully consider your pledge for next year and give some thought to your plan, what percentage you're going to give, how much progress you're making on increasing your pledge, but most especially make your stewardship pledge a priority. And by the way, all this food up here is going to be part of 10 Boxes of Hope, providing meals through Metropolitan Ministries, as Zachary said, for 10 hungry families. And then the more things that you bring for Boxes of Hope, the more meals that we can give away. Usually with your generosity, we give like 75 to 100 meals away. So either money or goods, whichever, it will help feed some hungry families this holiday season. And again, if you can bring supplies next week, we can have all the children put them together on the 14th. Please prayerfully make a decision on your stewardship this week, and please bring your form next week. Have a wonderful week. Thank you for listening to my sermon. And again, thank you for the privilege of serving here. I hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving and best wishes and God's blessings as we begin our season of Nativity. God bless you.